Indeed we are. Welcome in to Gwynn and Chris on this Thursday afternoon. Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris Ello, Matt Scraby, all in the building together again. Padre news.
You wouldn't know it. Oh, there we go. I finally popped up on the screen.
Scrape, can you fix my camera since,
Tony, I can see your left ear. Looks nice.
These cameras, I like
very much.
them, but the AI in them I despise.
It doesn't
Blame
work
it on the
properly, does
AI.
It follows me around the room and then
It
it
definitely
doesn't
does
come back.
that. You can't go get up and go
And
anywhere.
then I try to turn it off by waving at it, but then it follows me even more. It's in the bathroom with me when I get there.
All right, that's too much.
It definitely feels like it's messing with you. at
That's
times.
too much.
Chris, welcome back.
Yeah, good to be back.
Lady Aztecs get a victory.
They got to win. They were much like the men last night. They were supposed to win big, and they were lucky to win a close game, but win they did. And then we were in Fullerton last night, so this is how women's basketball teams celebrate, Tony. We went to downtown Disney for an hour after the game last night.
Sounds magical.
Magical indeed, but
Sounds like you believe that. Too.
nice to be home after a game, but we were delayed while the ladies pranced around and enjoyed themselves. But yeah, basketball, San Diego State both won last night, but Aztec men, I know probably everybody's all concerned because they only won by 6. But California Baptist, 4 seniors in their starting lineup, and that's rare this day and age. And they shot the lights out. They did. So what can you do? Sometimes a team does that. You find a way to win. You move on. Try to learn from, whatever you can maybe do better. But
one of the things I think that could be going on, I mean, maybe outside of Miles and maybe a few guys who are returning from last year, this is a relatively new and young group.
Yep.
And even though they in their mind might feel like they are hunting, because of the reputation that this school has started to garner,
especially
they are being the hunted.
Especially in California.
Yeah,
because
for sure.
they're big. I mean, with all due respect to UCLA and your guy Dave Marcus, San Diego State's the top basketball program in this state.
I think so.
And has been, I think, for 15 years. UCLA's had a couple of good teams in there, but the Aztecs have been the team to beat, and
I think they're experienced in playing with that.
And I think you also beat Houston, and then you play Cal Baptist. You look at the name on the front of the jersey, you go, that's Cal Baptist. Come on, we just show up, we win this game. And no matter how many times the coaches tell you, hey, these guys got 4 seniors, they can shoot, we got to play. You got young kids, they don't believe it until they experience it a few times. And they don't go out and take care of business the way they're supposed to.
You've also bounced, in between those tough games, a conference game,
right,
and then 2 out-of-conference games. Either way, this is, I think, what you get when you have a team that hasn't been together a long time. Some inconsistent play. The good thing about their inconsistent play is they're still leading to wins. Sometimes inconsistent play leads to losses. Right.
And they got Cal, and they got 10 days off before they play Cal. And I think Brian Dutcher will be like, okay, let's get this together. We can't afford many more performances. Now, they were up 19 in the second half, and that could be another thing. They might have just let down, figured the game's over. So, anyway, they made a couple of good plays down the stretch. Once Cal Baptist got within 4, they scored. They played 2 good defensive sequences, stopped them, and got the win. So, we're overly critical as an Aztec fan base now. We want comfortable wins only. Yeah. And that's, it's not always doable.
We have become a little spoiled.
Yes, we're getting spoiled.
We'll stay on the Mesa. News kind of broke right before we came on air today, but it looks like San Diego State starting quarterback Danny O'Neal has informed the coaching staff that he plans to enter the NCAA transfer portal. O'Neal this season became the first true freshman in San Diego State University history to open the season as the Aztecs starting quarterback. He passed for 2181 with 12 TDs, 6 INTs. That comes courtesy of our friend Kirk Kinney. It's been reported on a couple different platforms at this point.
Yeah.
And it seems like what I think many people felt was a good get last year as a true freshman coming in. He starts, and you're looking to build. looks like Mr. O'Neill has other plans.
Yeah. I mean, look, include me in the people that are booing to a certain extent, but we all have to accept that until they change the rules out there again, if they're ever able to change the rules again, this is going to keep happening. And it's not just happening here. I know we're thinking, oh, man, this is the Aztecs way. It's every school, everywhere, across the country. But here's the thing that stings, and it's got to sting if you're Sean O'Neill and you're trying to put a program together. You just basically gave an entire season to a freshman quarterback with the idea that you would give him the experience to build himself up, right? And be in a position to take this program to another level next year. Scraby, the game hasn't started yet.
I wasn't
all right?
doing anything.
The 49ers and the Ram game is 3 hours away. He's already focused on the television screen.
I giggled because you said Sean O'Neill, and I was trying to figure out it's a mixture of Sean Lewis and Danny O'Neill.
Sean Neal. Sean,
that's what I was thinking.
Oh, okay.
You know what's funny is
I
I was thinking, I was like,
who's Sean O'Neill?
That is crazy. They both have the same last name.
No, Sean Lewis, right. So thank you, Scraby. But that's okay. That was
not paying attention.
That was worthy of a laugh.
Okay.
But yeah, you turn your program over to a freshman quarterback and you try to, build yourself a foundation moving forward. And you live and die with the mistakes of a freshman quarterback, and you say, hey, this is going to help me down the road. And now you feel like you kind of wasted the year in that regard.
That's a great point.
And this is what college football has given us. I mean, every player in every school in every situation has the ability to just walk out if they don't think the situation fits them and try to find something else.
Now, maybe we'll find out, at some point that Sean Lewis has another quarterback in tow, and it may have sparked this. I don't know, but it does seem like it comes out of the blue, right? A freshman getting to start. I would think at this point, no one's coming in to really challenge that. I mean, of course, there's going to always be competition, but as you said, this seemed like the ideal plan for a program that was trying to build.
Yeah.
But now it looks like you'll reset and kind of figure it out from there.
Makes you wonder if you're Sean Lewis or Sean O'Neill, for that matter. But it makes you wonder, shouldn't I just go with an experienced quarterback and get the most out of him I can in 1 year? Because the second year is never guaranteed.
Yeah, I mean,
because
certainly a real option. A real thought.
Danny O'Neill is, I'm sure he's grateful for the opportunity he got. But he doesn't know. Well, I'm saying he doesn't owe anything to San Diego State because of the way the rules are set up.
The truth of the matter is, it may not have anything to do with the actual coaching staff or roster in the day and age of NIL and how much money you get. What happened in UNLV in the same conference, right? Their starting quarterback after the first game. Couple of games of the season was
they verbally agreed to give him money and then they didn't.
Did they ever prove that? I know that's what
I haven't seen a resolution to
that's
that.
what I'm saying. So, my point is that this kind of thing is happening.
Yeah.
It's happening close. It's happening in the program. So we'll see. But it does look like Danny is headed elsewhere.
I think the biggest thing that stood out to me when I learned that Danny O'Neill was transferring was he was not good last year. I know he was a true freshman, but where is he gonna? What team out there is gonna give him a bunch of money to be their quarterback?
Well, we don't know. That it may not be quarterback. It may not be money. It may be just the fact that he wants to have a chance to be in a better program. I don't know what it is. We just know he's in the portal at this point.
This is angering me, and the reason it's angering me.
But don't be angry at him. You should be angry at the system.
I'm not angry at him, but I would like to see people stick out their commitments. Remember when he posed on the field with that Ferrari last year? Why go through all the pomp and circumstance for a guy for someone who may leave in a year?
I can't answer that. It's only temporary. And maybe in their minds.
Yeah, I don't know what else you can do.
It's good in the moment.
And here's the other thing. Maybe, and this is what San Diego State is concerned and fears, is that 75% of the college football program, Division I level, can afford to give him more money than we can afford to give him. And maybe it's that.
Yeah.
I mean, the Aztec women's basketball team lost a very good point guard a couple years ago. She went to Georgia. It's in the SEC now. She's a good player, great player, good enough to play in the SEC. Well, the SEC pays a whole lot more money.
They got deeper pockets.
And she's got, maybe a couple years to make college money. How can you tell her don't do it?
Yeah,
I mean, you'd rather her not, but she did, and, that's where it's at.
Here's the other part where you're thinking about it from the college athlete perspective. There are probably far more college athletes that are playing collegiate sports that won't have a chance to play a professional anything.
Yeah.
And so this is their
This
chance.
is the chance to make some
the UNLV quarterback.
Exactly,
decent
to
money.
capitalize on what this small window, because we oftentimes think of the professionals, okay, they have a small window, but they're compared to
College athletes.
that's a much bigger window. This is a very small window, and I think some of these student athletes are hip enough to realize that, and they're honest enough to realize that, and are going for it right now. And I think you're going to see a lot more of that in college football, right? Because there will probably be far more of those guys than there will be guys who are getting NIL and going to the pros. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they're probably not going to be probably going to be harder to move because they know they don't have that window into the pros in terms of their decision making.
Danny O'Neal maybe has 3 more years of quarterbacking to try and make as much money as he can.
He has 4,
Because,
right? You get like an extra red shirt.
No, you
get
got
a
that.
red shirt,
you got
but-
that because of the COVID, but
Right.
that's gone now.
Okay,
so
all right.
you have 5 years to play 4 seasons. You can only
red
play
shirt.
4.
You can redshirt
yeah,
without
right.
playing a game,
But you don't get the extra COVID season.
No,
I
you-
just thought they made that a part of it. It's like the Utah quarterback. What's his name? Cam Rising, I think is his name.
Right, he was around for 19 years because of injuries.
Well, he's still around.
and COVID. And,
He's
yeah.
still no, but what I'm saying is to go off of Tony's point is like he is a guy who probably sees the writing on the wall that he's not going to be an NFL quarterback. So why not stay in college as long as possible? But Chris is right; there was injuries and other things that he
Right.
got the chance to keep.
That's a little
playing.
different than the kid that knows I got about 4 years
That's true.
to capitalize on this. I think we'll hold on to the Padre view of free agency on the other side. We've kind of moved past the 212 marker. So let's hold
Danny
it.
O'Neal.
We'll go to
Now I'm
the
angry.
we'll go to the other side.
Sean O'Neal. Now I'm nearly angry.
I despise Sean O'Neal. I mean,
Whoever he is.
does this concern you that the coaching staff isn't good?
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
It honestly doesn't. I don't know for a fact one way or the other.
If that's the
I
case-
just know that almost every kid is thinking, I got to make as much money as
You're
I
right.
can while I can.
I think that's also, if that's the case, then there are some highly, high-ranked teams that lose kids every year.
Sure.
That certainly we'd have to be like, man, their staff something must be wrong there.
Yeah.
I think this
I don't
is
think
kind
you
of
can say that.
I think this is kind of the nature of where we're at right now. All right, let's get the break. On the other side, a little Padre talk. More Gwynn and Chris.
Here's another.
Thursday, ahead of Thursday night football, Rams and the Scrabies. Scraby,
Bang bang Niner gang.
see, he's
First
all
time this
excited
year.
now. He's ready to take them to the Super Bowl now. For some reason, after almost every game this week a year, you've given up on the team. Now you're like, win tonight and sky's the limit.
Sky is the limit.
Well, we'll see if they can win tonight.
Chris, I did a little digging on this Danny O'Neil thing,
Okay.
and the full story will come out, but we need to wait for it to come out before we make our opinions about him.
Well, we already made our opinions, so we can't take them back now.
This is true.
And I
This is
also
true.
told you that whatever it is, you can't blame this guy.
No, I don't blame
for
him. I
going
blame
into
the
the transfer
system.
portal.
I
It's
blame
the
the
system's a disaster. The Aztecs aren't the only ones, being affected by it.
We covered ourselves at the end. I definitely said, hey,
I went a little bit harder.
you always tend to go a little bit.
Yes.
hard.
Yeah.
We don't know. We'll. It sounds like we're going to find out at some point.
Yeah.
So
We'll get some more insight for you. Padres winter meetings have come and gone. And now, everything you're reading now says the Padres are not going to be spending any money, and they're not going to be doing anything, or they're going to be trying to improve the team without spending money. And so that has everybody speculating that, there is something to this Dylan Cease trade potential. And now one more name has been added to that in terms of potential trade bait. And that would be Luis Ariz. Is this poor guy going to win his third straight batting title and be traded after it again?
crazy world we live in.
Wow. He's been traded. He won the batting title for the Twins.
Trade it.
Won the batting title for the Marlins.
Trade it.
And now he wins the batting title for the Padres.
Possibly.
I hope he doesn't get traded. I know you have to do what's best, but, man, I really like this guy.
Yeah.
So
I'm with you on that. I think it seems as though, based on what Kevin Acey of the Union Tribune wrote, Dylan Cease seems to be the guy that could garner. And the reason why I think Luis wouldn't get traded is because he's not going to bring as much back. I think that's why Cease is the name you keep hearing. He's controllable for one more year. What can you get in return for a top-line starter? You see the price tags that are floating around here with starting pitching in Major League Baseball. This won't cost you money, per se, but it'll cost you some talent. Who has an abundance of it to give up? That is the question. Where is the connection for you? Well, we don't know, but I guarantee you there's one guy who does know. His name is A.J. Preller. He knows the organization he's stalking right now.
we don't have to trust him, but I think he deserves our trust, at least for the time being, based on what he's accomplished recently. But to me, it's a little frustrating to go through the winter meetings, but in the long view, it really doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
It doesn't matter. You don't have to make a move at the winter meetings.
It feels good to make moves in the winter meetings.
It's nice to be able to, chime in with a big move and get your logo on television, but
The Padres did their best work after the winter meetings last year.
normally they do. So, there's nothing in terms of where the Padres might be going at this point.
I have a question about Luis Ariz because I talked about this on the Scraby show last night. He had 24 total walks last year. Is there a way for him to get on base more with the walk? Because what's the 3 true outcomes, right? Aren't you eliminating one of the true outcomes if you only walk 24 times in a season?
Yeah, but he also eliminates another true outcome because he never strikes out. And he
True.
also never really hits a home run. So Luis Ariz basically has none of the true outcomes.
He is an alien on his own.
Which is okay with me. The world is not about true outcomes. I still love to see this guy go 4 for 5. And I wonder.
I think you got to remember it fits because of the lineup he's in. And so it doesn't matter about some of those other things you're talking about, Scraby. And I also point out, 24 walks this year is one of the lowest totals that he's had walking. I don't know that that's a normal, deal for him. He doesn't walk a lot, but 24 is at least among the ones he's recorded at least 400 at bats, is the lowest total he's ever had. Now, he's not going to walk a lot, but he's going to get you a ton of hits. He's gotten 200 of them bad boys this year, last year and this year.
Is there something that concerns you as a manager, as a hitting coach, in terms of going to Luis Ariz and saying, hey, we need you to walk more? And that if he attempted to walk more, it might take away the very thing that makes him such a great hitter as well.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, there's always a concern of that, too.
Listen, I think I don't think there's any question there. And I think Luis would tell you the same thing. There's probably some room for improvement in that category. But it's not something that you're pressing about. Remember, he played 2/3 of that season last year with a torn ligament.
I
in
did
his
mention
thumb.
that too last night.
So I mean, like, you got the production you got, and he wasn't healthy with I would say a pretty important piece of your swing.
When he was healthy, that lineup was going.
It was going. And so, I think Padres have to do what they have to do, ultimately.
I would not trade him.
Just like I didn't, I know everybody feels differently, but I didn't want them to trade Soto, but I understood that they had to in order to put themselves in a better situation. It sounds like Cease is the piece that could kind of garner a lot. I hope they don't have to trade Luis. I really, really do. But if they have to, A.J. Preller's not doing it because of any other reason than he needs to do it in order to try to help this team improve.
I said it the other day. We're going to take a look. Whatever the Padres start making the moves, whether it's a trade or whether it's a signing or whether it's this or that, we're going to look at each and every move as an island.
Right.
And we're going to be making a mistake.
Yep.
Because every move is going to be part of something bigger for A.J. Preller and putting this team together. So we really should just stop talking about it entirely until mid-March at least. But what the hell are we going to talk about?
I was going to say, what do you want us to talk about then?
Yeah.
That's all we got until mid-March.
Pretty much. So, AJ, get cracking so we can get going. This hour, 97.3 The Fan, brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. Buffalo Wild Wings is football. Head to your local Buffalo Wild Wings. Try their new maple chipotle sauce for rich maple sweetness and a mild smoky chipotle heat, or for a bit of a kick, check out the new Cajun sauce, a rich blend of spicy and tangy pepper sauce. Stop by your San Diego B-Dubs or order now for takeout and delivery. Buffalo Wild Wings. Go, go, go.
Real quick, do you guys have time for another question of mine that we talked about on the Scraby Show last night? Or should we say
where else are we going to go?
That's a good point. With the Dodgers and the Giants spending big money in this offseason, do the Padres have to try and keep up? Because I'm not saying that they're going to sign bad contracts or anything, but all I'm seeing is that they're not going to be close to the 210 that they have now.
Right.
Can you compete in this division without paying? Do you have to pay to play in this division?
The Padres have already paid. And I know that's mind-blowing to everybody, but they have. They paid their core players that they paid at the time and expected that they were going to be good for the next 5-6 years. That was what went into those contracts. Let me name them: Machado, Bogarts, Toddy. Who else am I missing? Joe, Crony, Darvish. They paid those guys when they paid them because they said they're going to be productive at least for the next, majority of those years. We are in year 3, 4. This is Manny's 5th, 6th?
I think 7th.
7th.
Let me just make sure. 2018 was his year, so it would be 7th.
7th year. So, they've already paid their guys. Now the question is, they have to remain productive, and can you continue to add and subtract where you can? But
2019.
The core is the core at this point. So you're 7 then, or you're 6.
I see some fans complaining about, and this is I don't agree with at all. I see fans complaining about, we've already spent our money on old guys that can't play anymore.
They weren't old.
I
They
don't
weren't-
agree
I mean,
with
they
this
can't
opinion.
play anymore. Does Manny can't play anymore?
That's my question to those people as
I
well.
think it's ridiculous.
I think it's
saying.
a little bit too much too.
Of course, Manny can play. Of course, Toddy can play. Xander has some, he's got some ways to go to get back to the level in which the Padres signed him at. Crone has a little ways to go to
His
get back.
contract really isn't that bad.
And it's not. It's not really one of the more expensive contracts,
Yeah.
right? Yu Darvish, Joe's gonna miss the year, so he can't really do much. Darvish when he came back was money, and so when you made those offers, when you made those deals, you were saying that you thought those guys would be competitive at least through this window that they're in now, and so you can't turn on that now because the Giants got a new shiny toy and the Dodgers keep adding new shiny toys. You sign those guys with the expectation that from 2020 to 2027, let's say, those guys will be productive enough to be the core of your team.
To build around.
Right. And that's what AJ is basically doing.
Yeah.
Does anybody think that the Padres, let's say the Padres go into next season pretty much with the roster they have now, and they add, some pieces in left field and a piece here, a piece there. With a team that has Michael King, Dylan Cease, Yu Darvish, with a team that has Roberto Suarez, right? Robert Suarez, Jason Adam
Yes.
at the back of the bullpen, and a team that has Bogarts and Cronenworth and Manny and Jackson Merrill
Yeah,
and
let's not
Tatis.
forget about Jackson.
Here's my thing. That team, plus a few additions to fill in spots here and there, should be in contention for a wild card spot. The thing that we get caught up doing is thinking that a team is only as good as what they
Their newest
add to
piece.
last
Yes,
year.
100%.
And I don't think that's accurate in the case of the Padres because, as Tony said, they already bought a lot of guys and put them in place to be competitive for the next 5 to 6, 7 years. And I think that includes next year.
Absolutely, it does. It absolutely does. I know it's
Because the
and we-
Dodgers got Blake Snell
Right.
and the Giants got Willie Adames, we
Right.
should not be able to play next year?
Right. Remember, the Giants had to get Willie Adames because they weren't very good. Bottom line. So, yes, they got a new piece. I know there's rumors that Corbin Burns may be the next piece they add there. They need it, quite frankly. So, it's so easy to get caught up in all these new pieces signing, but this is what they signed when they signed Toddy to the long. Remember, it was like, lock Toddy up. Why were you locking him up? Because you felt like his production would carry.
Mm-hmm.
Lock up Manny. Why'd you lock him up? Because you felt like his production would carry. You did the same thing. Now you did the same thing with Cronenworth. You did the same thing with Bogey. Now you're gonna need those guys to do what you thought they were gonna do. But quite frankly, I know Bogey wasn't at his normal levels. Croney wasn't at his normal levels. Yet this was probably one of the better teams because you still had Toddy being at his productive level. You still had Manny being at his extremely productive level. And then, you got your pitchers that you also signed. And so, I think it's hard to watch the teams in the NL West add pieces. But, outside of the Dodgers, who are the World Series champs, everybody else needed to add pieces.
At least we're not the Rockies.
Right.
Rockies signed Chris Bryant to $180 million.
And their owner basically told their fan base, that's it for the next 10 years.
You get
Man.
nothing else.
Man, that's brutal. That is brutal.
Yeah, it is. We'll take a break. When we return, a little update, if we have it, on the Danny O'Neill transfer portal situation, the Aztec quarterback. Working on getting a little more info to you on that. Also, the most stunning story in sports to me in 2024. We'll talk about it a little further when Gwynn and Chris resumes action.
Gwynn and Chris.
I didn't know if we had more to say.
2:39. Some of y'all out there quite perturbed about the Padres and how they've spent their money. Although I would say all of you who are complaining weren't complaining when they were signing these guys to long-term deals. I was there.
I was there.
No, I knew they were going to be in this bind, Tony.
239.
I knew it was a big mistake.
The only contract they really need to get out of, in my opinion, is the Xander contract.
Well, they're not getting out of it. So
How do you? Can you please explain that? How do you get out of that?
You can't.
I mean, if you sign 5 or 6 big money contracts, players,
You might miss.
You might miss one.
Yeah.
And to
This is a
point,
big miss, though.
all right. Well, let's pack it in then.
Well, that's
I
not
mean,
what
that's
I'm
the
saying.
thing. But it is. They have him, so let's get the most out of him that we can and move on. He's not going to give money back, and we're probably not going to be able to trade him under the circumstances of the contract he has.
Yeah.
So fire AJ Preller because he agreed to that deal. But at the same time, you're probably the same people that thinks he should have been the executive of the year last year for the job he did. So
Also true.
he missed one, and you know what? If and it seems like a long shot, but if Xander Bogaerts gets hot and gets back to being Xander Bogaerts for the next 7 years,
Yeah, I don't think that's a long shot.
then
either,
it wouldn't
by
be
the
a
way.
miss.
Wouldn't be a miss at all.
You know what I just noticed?
What?
The AJ haters have been quiet for quite some time.
Well, they
Yeah,
had
But
to
now
be,
they're
right?
back out.
Sometimes you got to pop out and show them that you're here still. And that's what they're doing.
They are, because he didn't make any moves at the winter meetings. It makes all the sense now, because we haven't had the AJ hate on the chat since basically the playoffs or the
Yeah.
regular season.
They got edgy tricker fingers right now because
I get it. I do get it.
Come on,
There's nothing
AJ. Learn
happening.
how to do your job, will you?
You
God.
stink. Just kidding.
Speaking of doing a job, Bill Belichick is doing a job that no one thought he would ever do. But he certainly seems to be in the right place at the right time. We've got some sound. Now, listen, cherish this. I don't know how many more of these type of jovial pressers you're going to get beyond today.
From Bill?
From Bill. We know how Bill is. So enjoy this, because this is not a Bill you'll hear from very often. He's talking about developing collegiate players.
Right. Well, again, in the NFL, it's a combination of a lot of things. But if you look at the players we had in the NFL, Tom Brady was a 4th-string quarterback his rookie year. He didn't exactly come in as, with any play time at all. Gronkowski, he didn't do too much his rookie year. Julian Edelman played quarterback in college. Then he was a wide receiver. Then he was a punt returner. So developing players is something that Michael and I believe strongly in, and we'll support that with the staff and we'll support that with the program. There's a lot of opportunity and room for growth for all players, whether 19, 20, or honestly 22, 23. Now,
Nothing like a little music with a Bill
some
Belichick
music at the
clip.
end there, buddy.
That really snuck up on me.
The mic he was referring to was Lombardi. It is also going to be his GM for the UNC Tar Heels. But I said it. I said it yesterday. I said it. Chris and I talked about it the day before. There probably isn't a better coach out there, and that's including being able to teach and coach each position. I don't know that there are very many coaches like Bill Belichick, but it certainly seems like he has a plan to try to get this program where it wants to go.
I think he has. Well, there's two things that I didn't think through, right? Because the whole time I thought this was the most ridiculous story to come out all year long. Really, Bill Belichick's going to not only go back to college coaching or go to college coaching for the first time in his career, but he's going to do it with North Carolina, a basketball school. Like,
Right.
he's not taking over Notre Dame or, a blue blood when it comes to college football. North Carolina's never done a thing in college football. But I underestimated two things. One is he just wants to coach.
Yeah.
This guy has coaching in his blood. He wants to be a coach. And this is the opportunity that's a sure thing. He can't wait around to see if the NFL is going to pass him by again. He's got to take something while he can. And then I think the other part of it is his motivation to go out and do something that hardly anybody's ever done, which is win a bunch of Super Bowls and then take a team to contention for a national championship.
Yeah.
So he's got a motivation to be good.
He's got 2 carrots.
Right. And then he's got just the fact that he's going to be there every day. And as you said, Tony, he's one of the few guys that can coach every position on the field. Not a lot of coaches can do that.
No.
So, I mean, he can even probably give the punter a couple of tips.
I heard this from Dan Olofsky this morning, and I thought it was a great point. College football was given the NIL and all the craziness in the transfer portal. When Nick Saban retired, it felt like it was a massive move, but in a negative direction. This feels the exact opposite, almost, right? You're bringing in a head coach of his caliber, and it feels hopeful because you can kind of foresee how, in the way that Bill Belichick ran an NFL organization, and how it can translate at the collegiate level, especially now without all of the rules and regulations that it had. This could be a positive for the negative that was gained. And I know we give Saban a hard time, but I don't think it was ever questioned the type of coach and what he was creating in Alabama. There isn't anything like that now, and it seems like Bill Belichick can now kind of step into that void. And if he's as good as Nick Saban is, I wonder if the ACC is all of a sudden feeling a little different. Remember, this is a conference that
need a little.
It was on
a little boost.
It's on the cusp of possibly losing.
The ACC is basically almost a tweener conference between the big boys of the Big Ten and
That's
the SEC, and the have-nots of Boise State and the rest of these guys.
They got the Clemsons kind of keeping them afloat right now.
Miami,
Miami,
but neither of them won it this
Right.
year. So SMU was the regular season champ. Keep that in mind. Number 2, the 4 byes in the college football playoff went to the Big Ten, Oregon, the SEC, Georgia, the Mountain West,
Right.
Boise State,
Right.
and the Big 12, Arizona State. ACC didn't get one of the byes.
No.
Clemson is
And
the 12th seed.
And they were on the cusp of only getting one team in if
That's
they were to
right.
let Alabama in. Now,
That's right.
the committee didn't do that, but this could have.
So this is a big facelift for them.
This could be a huge facelift, and if North Carolina, and listen, I said this is Gravy yesterday, Chris. After we've watched Deion Sanders be able to create what he's done in 2 seasons,
Yeah.
there's certainly hope in which UNC's looking at that and like, we want the same thing.
Yes.
We want the same. I don't know. They didn't finish as bad as the Buffaloes finished before Deion took over. I think they had 1 win. I think North Carolina was a little bit better than that. I think they might have had 4 or 5. But either way, they're hoping for that kind of turnaround quickly.
They have to. And I've already thought, where am I going to be when Bill Belichick makes his coaching debut? You know where I'm going to be? Watching it on TV, everybody.
Right.
There's going to be so many more North Carolina games on TV.
You're starting to hear the GM word used a lot more in collegiate football. They're hiring these guys to manage
That's so weird to me.
the money that they're having to kind of, handle.
That's interesting
That is interesting.
because that's not what we are used to.
No, it's not what we're used to. But I would say most of the time it felt like New England was winning championships with like some of the cheaper rosters out, in the league. And now he's going to have to bring that same type of philosophy to a college where there's less money. I just think it makes perfect sense, honestly.
Our guy Thomas Andrews, who used to work on the show, big Patriots fan, he texted me this morning. He said he's very disappointed in Bill because he's above the college level.
Oh,
and I'm like, well,
get
didn't your
outta
team
here.
fire him? Yeah, okay. He would still be coaching.
He's above the college. Apparently, the Bill doesn't think so.
I think Bill is very excited about this.
I think Chris said it perfectly. Bill Belichick just wants to coach, ultimately.
He's going to. And he's going to. This is a thing that college football needs. Look, college football is getting nothing but bad publicity right now. Whereas we've detailed it in the previous thing about Danny O'Neil transferring. Kids are leaving. They're making way more money than a lot of us are comfortable with them making. They don't have any kind of link to the team they're playing with, right? They're in it for themselves, which is okay. You got to look out for number one, but the sport itself is a mess in terms of this NIL situation in the minds of many fans. So getting Belichick's a big deal for college football.
Yeah, I think so.
Big deal. I mean, you're right, Scrape. North Carolina, it's going to be must-watch television this year, the way Colorado was, last year. And I would expect Belichick to be. You said they weren't very good. They actually were 6-6 this year. They're in a bowl game.
So won 6 games, yeah.
So it's not that they're horrible. They lost, I believe, their starting quarterback early in the season, and that was one of the reasons they didn't have a better year. So Carolina's got some people. Plus, now Michael Jordan will probably come to the games again.
I didn't even.
Bill.
Yeah, what's up with MJ? Does he ever go back to North Carolina?
I mean, he hadn't had good reason to go back in a little bit.
The team.
Basketball team struggled last year big time.
He's not like a Calvin Johnson, though. He doesn't have like an issue with the North Carolina
I don't think so.
program.
They wear Jordan brand. I mean, I think he's still cool with him.
By the way, the first North Carolina game next year, August 30th at home against the Braden Soprennants.
Oh, TCU.
Oh yeah, I did hear that. Yeah.
And
the horned frog. That's the frog.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, Deion Sanders' first game at Colorado was also against TCU, and they won it.
They did.
And that got everybody overly excited about Colorado football. Then
Yeah.
they went into the tank.
I think they won convincingly, too.
They did. I don't know if it was convincing or not,
they
but
did win.
definitely won.
So anyway, that's something to look forward to August 30th next year.
He was also asked if he would go back to the NFL. That has been a big question since this news is broke. Here's what he had to say.
Yeah, I didn't come here to leave.
I like the slow clap. That is. Can we listen to this again?
It only sounded like three people were really excited by that.
Go ahead.
I think they were waiting for him to say something else.
You might leave for the NFL again in a year or two.
Yeah, I didn't come here to leave.
It's literally one person clapping.
Hey, they don't know Bill. They didn't know if they were supposed to clap at that point.
They also better start working on their questions there in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, because he's not going to give you any wordy answers if you don't ask him a decent question.
You better have a follow-up ready, because that was a 3-word. What was that?
Yeah, I didn't come here to leave.
I didn't come here to 6 words.
That was a long answer for him.
I feel like this. I don't know why I feel this way. I feel like this is a new Bill. I feel like it's a rejuvenated Bill.
I'll believe that when he starts doing press conferences.
I'll believe that the first
game.
time some kid fumbles a punt. I mean, and somebody tries to remind him, Bill, the kid's 18 years old. Yeah, but I don't care. You can't be making mistakes in that situation.
I'm paying him $2 million in the NIL.
I'm paying him $2 million. Bill Belichick, if a kid struggles early in the season, will try to cut the kid. I don't know that that's a college football move.
Brandon on the chat said that last night on Bart Winkler, the show after Scraby Show, said that he may take Josh McDaniels. He may take some of his NFL coaches with him to college.
I believe that.
I mean, I don't see why a kid who wants to be an NFL player wouldn't want to at least check out the
I wouldn't go there if it was Josh McDaniels.
I was just getting ready to say, some of these kids have been paying close attention to the NFL. I wonder if he has to consider not bringing on a guy like Daniels because of the kind of heat he's taken, from a media standpoint, and how he comes across, to some of these younger athletes, because that's who you're going to be working, pretty hand in hand with.
Yeah.
I heard that his son is automatically, or did you mention this yesterday? That his son's going to be the defensive coordinator,
I think we heard that from our boss. Adam was the one who told us that.
Yeah, that was part of the deal. And his son's the defensive coordinator at Washington, I think, right now. I haven't seen that story pop up, but I've heard about it. Because I'm sure Bill Belichick's getting a perk or two. I don't think he just accepted the coaching job at face value.
It was $10 million per year, which
also it turned out to be 50.
Beyond,
I still haven't.
See, we heard the 3 years 30, but then we heard it was 5 years, and then we didn't hear money.
I don't know. Bill Belichick's going to probably get a ride to and from practice every day if he wants it.
Here it is.
I would think they'll take pretty good
care
care
of it.
of
It is a 5-year deal. Now that the press conference has happened, the details are out. The yearly salary for Belichick amounts to $10 million. They paid Mac Brown only $5 million.
First 3 years of the deal are guaranteed.
A coaching agent, didn't even know that was a thing. The 3-year deal, not sure kids will go there knowing he is likely gone soon.
Wait, who? What?
The 3-year deal. Oh, because originally it was a 3-year deal, so they wanted a 5-year deal to show like there's a commitment to the program.
Right.
Is I don't know. I just did Tony Gwynn Jr. there.
You can't remember what you
Can't remember what I was going to say. So.
All right, let's get to break. On the other side, if you're ready to gamble, this is your segment, Daily Gambit, on the way.
Tomasello, Tony Gwynn Jr., Matt Scraby together. Odyssey Palace Studios, San Diego, California, where San Diego State University football team no longer has a starting quarterback. Danny O'Neill entering the transfer portal a little while ago. I'm reading Kirk's story online here. I don't follow it that closely, but I did not know that their backup quarterback and third-string quarterback from last season also have both entered the transfer portal. So, Sean Lewis, good luck. Starting kind of from scratch now.
Who was the other player you said?
Their backup quarterback, Javance Tupuola Johnson.
He's also entered.
He's entered, and A.J. Duffy, a transfer from Florida State, also entered the portal.
All quarterbacks.
All quarterbacks. Junior Kyle Crum, who was fourth on the depth chart last year and also came into studio one day, I believe, visited with us. That was Kyle Crum sitting right over here.
Totally he was.
Yeah. They came in earlier this season. And a high school signee, J.P. Mielowski, who is graduating early from Long Beach's Millikan High School. Those are the only two quarterbacks left in the program as of right now. So,
Gotta go buy one.
It's a hang with them for San Diego State. It truly is.
Gotta go to the quarterback store.
Yeah, but how much we're talking about the Padres in free agency. The Aztecs in free agency certainly don't have the same playing field as
Right.
just about everybody else in college football, give or take a few teams.
Yeah.
So, it's funny. We sit here and talk about baseball, free agency, how unfair it is that the Dodgers have more money. Well, hey, welcome to college football now.
That is true.
If
I
they're-
think Texas has $22 million in NIL, which is a lot. I think it's the most in college.
I don't know. They're just endless for some schools.
It feels like it.
I mean, Texas may have $22 million in its own pot of money, but that doesn't include Rich Booster number 10, who just writes a check for $22 million himself. Who knows? I don't, or just pays a player directly.
In the program where he hands them an envelope at the
are
party.
there any rules anymore? They were handing him money with envelopes with money in them before there were rules.
Yeah,
When there were rules,
yeah.
right. When there were rules, and now there are no rules. So, it's kind of a wild scene in college football right now.
That's the thing is there's rules, but no one's actually there to enforce them. Like who is the governing body that comes in and is like
when Booster stops on a street corner and hands kid a envelope with $11,000 in it, what
who
NCAA person comes out of the woodwork and says, "Excuse me,
that's illegal.
We can't do that.
Right?
Yeah, sorry,
it doesn't exist.
Yeah, give him that money back before you guys get in trouble."
I'll gladly be that person.
Okay, fine. You could be one person.
I will travel
What are
the
you gonna
country looking for
Be
NIL
like a
infractions.
NCAA
NIL
paralegal.
infractions.
That would be very fun, actually.
What would it sound like when you
and
pulled up on an infraction?
I would see the guy pull up to the corner.
He would just pop out and be like, hey, don't do that.
No, I put my little thing on the top of the roof. Sir, pull over, please. We have an NIL infraction.
We have an NIL infraction going on here.
Now you
over.
can give me $11,000
of
if you
right,
can keep
you want it
moving.
quiet.
Here's the problem, though. A lot of these infractions are going to take place on foot. They're not going to be in the car passing out stuff.
Right, you gotta
They're gonna
find
be-
it,
So you're
Scrape.
going to have to find
I
it.
gotta get
Scrappy, you're in charge of
You're
this.
going to have to pop out and just be like, hey,
gonna hide in the bushes.
don't do that. That'll get you a year suspension and blah, blah, blah. You're like an NCAA paralegal, basically.
I
You
just
know
have
what
my
I'm
little hat with a siren on top.
By the way, if this makes Aztec fans feel any better, and it probably won't, but Boise State had a huge prospect quarterback, Malachi Nelson. He transferred from USC to Boise State.
He gone.
He's now transferring away from Boise State to go to the next place. So, this is...
Maybe it's San Diego State.
Maybe he'll
it's
come
San
here.
State.
I don't know.
Hey.
But, this is going on everywhere, and somebody, with some sort of control over college football, and I don't know who that is, we got to get a handle on this. It's a mess. It's an absolute mess, and it's not just in football. It's every other sport now. Every sport, golfers can transfer whenever they want.
Yeah.
Soccer players?
No, I'm
I mean,
sorry
they
to the
don't get
golfers out there, but
I'm just saying
we don't get attached to golfers.
I know, but I'm just saying it's happening in every sport all over the country, in every program. The Aztec women's basketball team was like one of 20 programs in all of college women's basketball that did not have a player transfer away last year. And there's 350 programs in Division One. They were one of the very few. So that's something to be said for Stacy
for sure.
and her program, but it's also pretty lucky that it just didn't happen. So if 20 didn't, that means 330 schools had somebody who did.
Yeah.
That's everywhere.
Yeah, it's not just a
Yes.
It's not just a San Diego State thing.
Real quick,
Yeah.
because I didn't do this yesterday and I should have. I want to congratulate my colleague, Tom Hamilton.
Hey! There's a long drive. It's way back. It is a home run! He goes crazy.
He
on
does go
Indians'
crazy.
home run. Or Guardians home runs.
For those who may not recognize the name, you probably just need to harken back to the fight. Down goes Anderson.
Oh, I have it right here. Oh, wait, say the name of the guy.
Tom Hamilton. He's
Oh.
the voice of the Guardians.
I guess it's Oh, never. I'm being an
Tom.
idiot.
Yeah,
Here
you're
we
fine,
go.
man.
Here we go. Here it is.
Here it comes. A swing and a smash to first by the diving Vaughn. Down the right field line. Kicks into the corner. Ramirez on his way to second. Head first slide. Safe and in to score is Jimenez. And another hustle double. Right over the bag at first. Now Hosey and Anderson square off. They're fighting. They're swinging. Down goes Anderson. Down goes Anderson.
Put him in the Hall of Fame just for that call.
He is this year's Frick Award winner.
Yeah,
He
that's
is goes to the great announcer, and he will go into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
That is
that's
a really cool thing for a really cool man. So congratulations, Mr. Hamilton.
Way to go. That call alone ought to be in the
I was
Hall of
just about
Fame.
to say. I was just about
You
to
got to
say.
walk in
They're
the
fighting.
Down
goes Anderson.
You ought to play. They ought to play that as you're walking in the front door.
Well, that has to be for when he's in the Hall of Fame. You have to have a little button that just says "Down goes Anderson."
Yeah, he's got a pretty electric home run call too.
Yeah, he does.
He gets very excited, and but he's been doing it a long time. That's great. All right, let's get into we got this what?
Should we wait until the next
Daily
segment?
Gambit. Nah.
No, we can get
We'll
it.
get it in.
Let's go.
Do you like money?
I think about money a lot.
Do you like money without doing anything?
Winning.
Do you want to make money while watching sports?
I think Washington is immortal luck.
Washington! Woohoo! If you answered yes, this is your segment. Just don't blame us when you lose.
Nothing is ever your fault.
It's your game. Take it.
Gwynn and Chris go through the top bets of the day in The Daily Gambit on 97.3 The Fan.
Daily Gambit is our daily sports betting segment here on Gwynn and Chris. Please, everybody, gamble responsibly. Maybe we'll talk about this tomorrow, but did you guys hear about the wife of a man who is suing a betting website because he gambled away like $1 million of their savings?
I have 6 words for him. Get out of my courtroom.
Yeah, I think courtroom's one word.
Yeah, maybe 5 words. All right, 7 words. Get out of my courtroom, you idiot.
I think it's his. I need to check the story, but I believe it's his wife suing because he stole her money basically to gamble.
That just still
and she's saying that DraftKings put him into this like better group where they kept sending him text messages where they gave him free money. Anyway, maybe we'll get into that tomorrow. First,
put that in the category of spilling hot coffee on yourself and being a multi-gazillionaire.
Chris, do you know that coffee was like...
I know the story.
Like boiling?
I get it. You still were stupid enough to spill it on yourself.
How do we...
I felt very similar to Chris on that one. when I first heard it.
I know the whole story. That particular McDonald's location was warned many times because their coffee had been too hot. There was a whole bunch of other stuff, but the stupid lady still spilled it on herself, and I'm sorry. I don't think you deserve to become a immediate multi-millionaire because of your own stupidity.
But don't you think that they shouldn't have made the coffee 200 and whatever degrees?
Let's go on to the Daily
He has no
Gambit.
answer for the...
Yes, I do. I gave it to you already.
I agree.
I gave it to you already. I said I understand they made mistakes, but...
I know Adam's not here, but Adam, will you please bring some coffee and throw it on Chris? See how
No,
he
that's
takes-
different. If you give it to me...
Sue if they threw it on her.
Right. Now, if he gives it to me and I pour it over my head, then I shouldn't be able to sue somebody.
All right, California Baptist at the Aztecs last night. Minus 14.5 point favorites were the Aztecs. We all chose them. We were wrong. Aztecs won 81-75. Colgate at Kentucky. We all chose Colgate. Kentucky.
Toothpaste University.
That's right.
Represented.
Cavity U, 32.5 point favorite, Kentucky. They won, but they only won by 11, 78-67. We all win that one.
We went to a Colgate sweep.
A Colgate
That's what I'm
sweep.
talking about.
Yeah.
Knicks, Hawks. Knicks were 7.5 point favorites. You guys chose the Hawks. I chose the Knicks. Hawks won outright, 108-100.
And Trae Young rolled some dice in the middle of the floor right before they walked off.
Am I correct in this, Tony, that when he plays in Madison Square Garden, they chant bleep Trae Young like as loud as they possibly can?
Yes, they do.
I mean, dice is the least he should do at the end of that
Trae is
game.
balding.
Okay, that's funny, but the other part is pretty hardcore.
Once you put the swear
Which is
word
why
in
he
there.
gives him the business every time he shows up there.
They need to stop doing that because they'll do things like he did last night. Houston minus 3.5 over the Warriors. We all picked the Warriors. The Warriors lost the game, but we win the bet 91-90.
And you saw Steve Kerr's reaction?
Yeah, he lost his mind.
He was said it was unconscionable that you could call a foul on a loose ball 80 feet from the basket and give Houston 2 free throws that won the game.
What do you think? Wait.
We now go to our resident referee, Chris Sello.
Oh, Chris was sat up tall in his seat, too.
That's me. I didn't see the play, so I can't totally comment. But I do agree with Steve Kerr in general. I think you got to have a pretty patient whistle right there. And unless somebody dove on the floor and honestly just pummeled somebody to get the loose ball where you had to call a foul, then I think he's right. So I have to look at the play before I give you a full determination. But he was upset, and then he stormed out.
He did.
Of the press conference.
All right, that was it for our bets last night.
All right, tonight we have San Francisco 49ers taking on the Los Angeles Rams.
I'm feeling my 49ers
You are.
today, guys.
For some reason, it's
this is as good
ridiculous.
as
You've
you
hated
felt
them all
year. Yeah.
Well, because they handily beat the Bears. Brock Purdy
They
was
better
looking
handily
like
beat the Bears.
He was like a killer out there.
Oh, man.
Debo's going to go crazy tonight.
Chris,
They're going to grease that squeaky wheel.
Do you feel the setup for failure here that's happening? It feels like he's setting
The thing
himself up.
is he wonders why we hate his team. This is it. In a nutshell.
All right.
So with that in mind, I'll take the Rams +3. I would take the Rams even -10. Tony, what about you? 49ers by 3. You going to go with Scraby here?
Absolutely not.
All right.
Rams, baby.
The thing is if the Rams win this game, the 49ers are basically mathematically eliminated.
I think that's why I'm so excited.
So can we please make that note in the back of your head?
Apparently, Brock Purdy delivered such a great speech before the game on Sunday.
It was the Bears.
They went out there and took care of it. Dre Greenlaw coming back tonight. Let's go! Thank you for that time, guys.
I didn't give it to you.
I know, I stole it.
49ers Rams 48.5 points, Tony. 48.5. That's
I'm
24-24.
I'm going to take the over.
Going over tonight. Seeing some points on the board. Scrape?
I agree, over.
I'm going to say under. Rams win 47-0. Be about right. Who's going to get more receptions, Scraby? Kittle or Debo? On your own team, who's gonna get more?
Debo. They're gonna force him the ball.
force him the ball.
After his tweet earlier this week, they're going
Squeaky
to make him
wheel,
happy.
as
Squeaky
they
wheel gets
say.
the grease.
All right, I'll say Debo as well because I'm tired of hearing him whine. Tony?
What was the question? I'm
Kittle
sorry.
or Debo, who gets more catches tonight?
Ooh, it better be Debo.
All right, I'll go in Debo there. College basketball, Iowa State, highly ranked last I saw. I think number 3 in the country. Highest rankings the Cyclones have ever had. They put it on the line tonight at Iowa. -6. Iowa State's favored by 6. I think you got to take Iowa at home in a rivalry game such as this and get 6 points. Tony?
Yeah, give me Iowa.
Going with the Hawkeyes.
I'll take the other side.
Iowa State. Cyclones for you.
That's a Brock Purdy school right there, baby.
Sorry I brought it up. Women's college tonight. Big game. UConn, number 2 in the nation, undefeated, giving 2.5 points at number 8 Notre Dame. That's a big matchup. Notre Dame's 7-2, but they beat USC earlier this year. UConn, one of their top players, Azzy Fudd, is out of the game. Injury. Notre Dame's got the potential player of the year. Have you seen this young player,
I have.
Hannah Hidalgo?
She can ball.
She can, and she's like 5'10",
Yeah,
5'9".
she's a little one. Yeah.
She just cuts through everybody, makes great plays. She and Beckers of UConn are frontrunners for Player of the Year, and they're playing against each other tonight at Notre Dame. Tony, you're up. UConn by 2.5 on the road.
Yeah, Bex is going to be too much for the young lady. Give me
UConn, he says. Scraby?
UConn.
I'll take the Irish. Notre Dame.
Okay. Are we done?
Cade Cunningham, Pistons, 23.5 points over under in Boston against the Celtics. Tony or Scraby.
Over.
Over.
We need to get the break, so I'm saying over.
Tony, I'm going over.
I'm going over as well.
All right, let's get to break. Traffic.
Oh, you got me again.
From the 97.3 The Fan.
.324, Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris Sello, Matt Scrape. Gwynn and Chris. I meant to bring this up yesterday, but somehow I slipped my mind. We had a lot going on.
Take it away, Tony, because I'm over here trying to unscramble my headset.
No, he's got the spaghetti going already. Yesterday, I happened to be going through the stories for the day, try to figure out what we're going to talk about. And I came across the story of is it a governor?
No, it's a state legislator.
State legislator in Ohio.
Josh Williams.
In Ohio. Mr. Williams wants to make it a felony to plant the flag in the state of Ohio.
It's called Ohio Sportsmanship Act, is what he's calling it.
He wants to give you jail time.
Here's what he said.
Yeah.
I am proud to introduce the Ohio Sportsmanship Act to make flag planting at midfield a felony in the state of Ohio. Behavior that incites violent brawls and puts our law enforcement officers in danger has no place on the football field. Now, the bill would prohibit planting a flagpole and flag. Ooh, I'm just going to go flagpole because it says and flag in the center of an Ohio Stadium of the Ohio Stadium football field. So
Only there?
Specifically
Just
Ohio
there.
State.
Only there.
Just there.
Is this guy from Ohio
Wait a
State?
second. Did he say the center of the
He
Ohio
says
Stadium?
prohibit planting a flagpole and flag in the center of the Ohio
so I can
Stadium
go plant it
football
in the
field.
end zone. Sure.
Yeah, he needs to work on
This
his
guy
wording.
is,
That
You
is
know,
the most,
asinine thing
I
ever.
mean, soft.
This is why our politicians are given no, respect in a lot of regards. I mean, you do stupid stuff like this, expect.
Okay.
How can we take you seriously?
Can we break down the statement? Because him saying behavior that incites violent brawls and puts our law enforcement officers in danger has no place on the football field. I do agree with that.
How about law enforcement using pepper spray on college kids that are just having a pushing and shoving match?
It was
at
not
midfield?
a pushing and shoving match. There was no way they were going to break that up without pepper spray.
Oh, they got helmets and pads on.
I know. Can you imagine those two guys going at each
They
other?
would have got tired eventually. They've been playing football for 4 quarters.
So we're gonna sit on the side and just drink our coffee
No,
as they
of
get
course
tired?
not. But to say that
No,
they
we're gonna sit on the side, take notes, and arrest everybody who's fighting for a felony.
Right.
That makes
Flag-
even more sense.
flag planting.
Yeah, I mean the whole thing is ridiculous, but there is at least a basis there that you.
What basis?
The behavior
All I'm
inciting
saying
violence.
is Oklahoma and Texas have been flag planting for a very long time. We ain't seen too many
Let's call
of
this
those.
the Baker Mayfield statute.
He doesn't want it to be called that, by the way. Yeah, people are saying this is not going to pass, though. It was lawmakers are wrapping up. Any bills that don't pass by the end of the year would have to be reintroduced. So maybe he's just trying to grab
Good luck,
headlines.
I mean,
for
this
it.
is not my state, but if you're in Ohio, it's got to upset you that you're wasting somewhat valuable time even discussing this idiotic notion.
These people are Ohio State people.
Yeah,
Michigan planted the flag.
They definitely. So you know what's happening next year. Like, don't let Ohio State win for the first time in 5 years because it will come in Michigan, and they certainly will be trying to plant.
No laws in Michigan,
but there will be one after next year. They're gonna. This is gonna see a string of laws saying don't plant flags in the center. Have a bunch of plant flagging in the end zone moving forward.
Ben Higgins had a really funny tweet. He quote tweeted the video of Trae Young rolling dice on the Knicks logo, and he said this will be a felony in Ohio. A felony. I mean, the felony part is where it goes.
That's where
the entire thing goes off the
rails. Misdemeanor, fine. A ticket,
it's not fine.
Fine.
It really isn't. From planting the flag, don't lose to them on your home field. Prevents it all.
And spend your time as an elected official to do things that really matter in your community.
How do you know this doesn't matter to his constituents?
Because he would have had it already. It would have been done already. If it
this just came about.
They've
in the last
lost
couple
4
weeks.
straight years.
But the flag planting incident is what caused this all to happen. I know you guys are never going to agree with me.
No,
I
we're
don't
not.
agree with the felony. I don't agree with putting in a law. But I don't think it's
that is
completely
all
baseless.
that Chris and I are saying, by the way.
Okay.
It's stupid for it to be a law.
In an addendum to that story, the Ohio State athletic director, Ross Bjork, today said he is 100%. Well, he didn't say that. He said he's absolutely confident that Ryan Day will be back as football coach in 2025.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it in the Big Five.
All righty. I'm just giving a little preview of the Big Five, which is coming up next.
Good save.
Let's get to break. Big Five on the way. You heard it. We'll be talking Mr. Day. More Gwynn and Chris on the way.
Ben and Woods.
did open the program by talking about Danny O'Neill, young Aztec starting quarterback who has put his name into the transfer portal. Kirk Kenny has been busy on the story, and he will give us a few more details coming up at the top of the hour, 4 o'clock. So Aztec fans, if you want to know a little bit more insight into this Aztec news, stick around. Kirk is going to be with us at 4 o'clock. At 4:30, we'll take everybody to Scraby's home neck of the woods.
Bang, bang, Niner gang.
All right, I'm not talking about the game anymore then. Don't want to hear that again.
Has everybody
That's actually
even...
the only thing I like about the Niners
I know.
is
Maybe
their song.
Yeah,
That's
that
it.
might be
I'm
it.
wearing a Bang Bang Niner Gang shirt. It's pretty awesome, gotta say.
It's pretty awesome.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, well, I want to see you wear it tomorrow. That's what I really want to see.
Well, if they win,
You gonna double up?
I might even wear my P. Willie jersey in here.
Oh, his P. Willie jersey, huh?
Love P. Willie.
It's jersey that's about a size or two too small.
I was a little bit larger back in the day.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't Sean McVay own Kyle Shanahan, or is it the other way?
It's the other way.
Oh, but not this year.
Not this year, and not the last couple years. I know that the 49ers beat the Rams a lot, and then it changed recently.
Okay. Let's check traffic, and no further ado before we get to the big five.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is brought to you by Scratchers from the California Lottery. Give the gift of play this holiday. Plenty of stuff to keep you on your toes this afternoon, guys. Got a collision on southbound 15 right before the 52. In fact, eastbound side of the 52 at the South 15 connector ramp, getting reports of a two-vehicle accident. It's over to the right shoulder. Also traveling on southbound 5 before Garnett. Always a tricky spot. A couple of pickup trucks ran into each other there. Now over to the right shoulder. Further south, right before Main and Division in National City. Got a collision over the right shoulder. Eastbound side of the King Freeway near Lemon Grove. There is a collision. Looks like a vehicle blocking middle lanes. Another vehicle over to the right shoulder. Traveling on the eastbound 56 near the 15. An accident involving a couple vehicles. Looks like you've got the right lane blocked there. If you're looking for the perfect gift, give Scratchers from the California Lottery. With so many to choose from, you're sure to find the right gift for anyone on your list. Give the gift of Scratchers from the California Lottery. A little play can make your day. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's that time of the show when we check on the latest in sports. Only the most important topics and questions are brought to light.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
These news stories will astound and amaze you. The one, the only.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
The Big Five starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
If you love Mediterranean food, try Spiro's for authentic Mediterranean cuisine in Coronado or La Jolla. For dining or takeout options, visit spiroscuisine.com. All right, let's get into it. And you are listening to Gwynn and Chris. I know Kelly said Ben and Woods.
Number 5.
I didn't even catch that.
She was just trying to kid around.
Well, yeah.
She was just making sure we were paying attention.
Yeah, and I'm always paying attention. I hear those mattresses in the freeway all the time. Let's start with one of the most important stories in San Diego today. Not Danny O'Neill, not the Padres, but the Holiday Bowl. We haven't had a chance to talk about it, but the Holiday Bowl has been set. We have Syracuse taking on Washington State, and the Holiday Bowl organizers have now named their chief eggnog official. Do-do-do-do. Joey Chestnut, everybody, is going to be the chief eggnog official. He's going to oversee the bowl game's second annual celebratory eggnog dump on the winning coach. Sorry. So I didn't know this was a thing. I guess it just started last year, but the winning coach gets a bunch of eggnog dumped over their head, which I don't know about.
Lincoln Riley was the first last year.
How did he feel?
I didn't ask him, but I heard he was a pretty good sport. I mean, because it happened while we were still there. Because they have the Sky Show after the game, so a lot of people stay in the stands for the post game interview. And Lincoln Riley was interviewed out on the field, and he took quite a bath of eggnog. So I guess he agreed to it, and now they're going to do it again. But I guess Joey Chestnut will be somehow involved in the
eating hot dogs and pouring eggnog.
Pouring of the eggnog. Well, look, Holiday Bowl, I got to give those guys a lot of credit, Mark Neville and that gang. Because the Bulls, they're not as big a deal now that you have the playoff. But the people in San Diego have done a good job because they put together something called the San Diego Sports Council, which now puts on the Holiday Bowl, but also puts on the Holiday Radies basketball tournament that had Purdue and North Carolina State and Ole Miss. And so they're keeping our city involved in the event that bowl games start to dissipate. I hate to say that's a possibility, but I think it is.
I think they should be given a lot of credit because, as you said, bowl games started to show cracks as this playoff thing showed up, right? They basically had kept some of the bowls because they needed, it was basically a way to keep them involved in the playoff, whereas the rest of them now seemingly lost value. And I think the Holiday Bowl in particular has kept the same type of luster that it had before. And I think that's kudos to the people in charge because they have allowed a tradition here in San Diego that I think everybody has enjoyed.
It's a pretty good deal. It started in 1978, people. It's almost 50 years old.
Wow.
The Holiday Bowl. So, give them credit for doing it. And we got a game, I think it's at Snapdragon this year. If you haven't been there.
Yep.
It's going to be a nice time to go to the game. You do get a great seat no matter what. Mm-hmm. You're going to have fun. Syracuse, Washington State, bowl game. And,
here's the question.
We can take a break from all the NIL stuff and watch a football game.
Here's the question. Do we really need the eggnog thing?
No.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. It makes no sense.
It seems lame.
That's just I don't know.
Like, that's a good waste of eggnog.
My wife is a red coat. For all I know, it was her idea, so I'm not saying anything.
Smart man.
I will allow you
I don't think it was her idea, by the way.
I will allow you to abstain, but it seems like it's like a circus or something. Like I don't like the eggnog
the
part
nog
of it.
part, like you're gonna have to have it ready and
oh man, they dump a lot. It's not like a little teacup of eggnog.
It's like
Lincoln Riley was
a little teacup.
No, he was smothered in that stuff last year.
I feel like that's just a waste of eggnog. Are you guys eggnog fans?
Why do I have a feeling
eggnog with a kick?
Why do I have a feeling if you go to the game, Scrappy, you're going to stay tuned and watch the eggnog ceremony?
Look, Chris will be looking like this the whole time.
Just
I can't believe there's
pouring
eggnog on him.
You bring a bowl game to San Diego and you dump eggnog on someone.
Number 4.
When I say the Skins game, does that mean anything to you? And don't go to the weird places you went.
You mean the Commanders game?
No, but close.
Oh.
But you guys know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I
remember it.
Skins golf, baby.
Yes, it's a golf event, and it hasn't happened since 2008, but they're bringing it back for next year. It will be held on Black Friday after Thanksgiving, so they're competing with the NFL.
But it was always on Black Friday back in the day.
Yeah.
Good point.
So,
and this is an example of the collaboration with the PGA Tour to showcase its best players away from the traditional presentation of golf. Still to be determined are the meat of the details: who's playing, how much, where. But basically, the Skins game is this: you play a hole. If you win the hole, you get a skin. If you have a better score than your partner, you get a skin. If you tie, you carry over, and then you can win multiple skins. I don't know if that was.
You want to improve this? You want to do something with the Skins game to make it really interesting and make me really want to tune in?
Use actual skin?
No,
you're ridiculous.
I thought that's where he was going.
No, what I think is that these golfers all have enough money. Scotty Scheffler applied play in the Skins game. Whoever they're going to put in, Rory. These kind of they're going to put
free?
the big. No, put your own money on the line. Now I'll be interested to see if you make that putt.
Well, they did with the match, first match.
They're not investing anything. I mean, if Scotty Scheffler misses a 4-foot putt and loses the hole, that's just $20,000 he doesn't get.
But
it'd be something if he lost $20,000.
You think Scotty Scheffler? I get what you're saying, but you think Scotty Scheffler is going to be like, oh well, there goes $20,000?
It's like the world of daytime television game shows. The contestants aren't risking anything. Be a lot more interesting the other way. I'm sorry you lose. Take it away, boys, for furniture.
All right, we know how Chris feels, but does this interest you, Tony?
Yeah, I watched some Skins.
All right.
I watched some Skins. I distinctly remember, I feel like I watched Chichi Rodriguez
There's a lot of Freddie Boom Boom couples, too.
Saw a lot of Freddie couples in there.
Greg Norman, I believe.
Norman was in there as well. I remember watching these Skins games.
Yeah, me too.
When I was younger. So, yeah, I'll tune in.
All right. Chris, you're not tuning in?
If they put up their own money.
Okay.
Number 3.
Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjork said today that he is absolutely confident that Ryan Day will be back as the Buckeyes football coach in 2025. Calls to fire the 6th-year coach rose among Ohio State fans after the Buckeyes lost to Michigan for the 4th straight year. Bjork, in an interview on 97.1 The Fan, said Day is the man for the job, regardless of how the Buckeyes perform in the college football playoff this year. So, Tony, since he is safe for next year, would a 5th straight loss to Michigan be enough to get Ryan Day fired? Alone.
It may very well be. And that's kind of terrible to say because his record as the Ohio State coach is actually really good. He just hasn't beat Michigan. Now, that being said, it's a pretty big deal. As we just learned by the bill that's trying to be passed to arrest people for planting flags. So, listen, I think this year, if he doesn't have a deep run, he's going to go into next year with a seat that is pretty hot.
Yes.
And a loss to Michigan, depending on what their year is before they get to that game, could be the final nail in the coffin if they lose a 5th straight.
Chris?
I think Ross Bjork better be careful because if Tennessee blows Ohio State out, say 31-7 at Ohio State in the first round of the playoff and the Buckeyes are embarrassed, after being embarrassed by Michigan and being further embarrassed by the fact that there was a melee after the game, that Ryan Day video show did absolutely nothing to try and prevent. He stood and watched the whole thing develop right in front of him, unlike the Florida coach and the Texas coach who rushed their guys away. Ryan Day did nothing. I think the guy's kind of an embarrassment to people in Ohio right now, and he better not lose this game bad, or Ross Bjork may have to eat these words.
Now, the Florida coach, if I'm not mistaken, didn't he go over and take the flag himself?
He may have.
I think he prevented it from happening.
I know he did, and the Texas coach, Sarkisian, pulled his guys off. Ryan Day just watched it all develop. Didn't even make him move a muscle. I'm not a fan of Ryan Day, if anybody's wondering.
I'm not.
All right.
All right.
Number 2.
Now, another college football coach has a new job. ESPN college football analyst Dan Mullen, the former head coach of Florida and Mississippi State, has agreed in principle to a 5-year deal to be UNLV's next head coach, a source told ESPN today. The deal isn't signed, but it is expected to be finalized in the near future. Chris, you're up first. Over under 1.5 years as the UNLV head coach.
Over.
Over.
Yeah.
How many years then?
16, I think he retires.
All 5? No, my
Actually,
original,
that's more than 5.
Yeah, I
my
don't
original
know.
thought for this question was, why did they sign a guy to a 5-year deal when coaches just moving around as they please?
Well, listen, this is UNLV. This isn't Clemson, Florida State, any of the powerhouses. In my opinion, getting a head coach like Dan Mullen at a university like UNLV,
it's a nice move.
It's a big move for them. I think this is
UNLV is not really ever committed to their football program at all.
No, and they had they're
until
coming off
the last
a good,
2 years.
Yeah, they're coming off a really good season this year.
The coach that's leaving and going to Purdue. I mean,
was he a high school coach before he got there?
I don't know his.
No. The one that just went to Purdue.
Yeah, I mean, this guy's done a hell of a job. I mean, I know UNLV lost the championship, to Boise, but I mean, UNLV college football, one of the worst programs in America and the worst jobs in America for decades. So I think it's a good move for them, and I think Mullen will at least stay for a couple years. See if he can't keep it going. Why
Tommy,
not?
Did you answer this?
I think it's a great move.
Is it over under 1.5 years?
I think it's well over 1.5 years.
All right. I just thought maybe this was his foray
They
back
better
into coaching.
they should give a school like UNLV should give a coach like Dan Mullen at least 3 years to try to move them in the direction he thinks they should go.
You know what won't matter, though? NIL money because they don't have any. So
I wonder, though, in a place like Las Vegas, could they find some?
I'm sure they could.
All it's going to take is one hotel mogul,
right,
to get excited about
get
the
in
football
on
team.
this.
Yeah, where's Steve Wynn?
Don't forget that way long before the Raiders and all these other things arrived, UNLV basketball controlled that entire city.
Yeah,
Larry Johnson.
With Tark and everybody.
All right.
Number 1.
All right,
no
guys.
carryover. Nice work.
Yeah, we did a good job today, everybody. Indian teenager Gukesh Damaraju capped a stunning...
Hang on a second. I checked this name out, and I want to see how close you really are to it.
Gukesh Damaraju?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right.
Thank you.
Damaraju. I give it to you.
He capped
Very
a
good.
stunning ascent to the top of the chess world by dethroning China's Ding Liren to become the youngest ever world chess champion on Thursday. The 18-year-old Damaraju snatched the decisive victory from a dead-drawn position in the final contest of their best-of-14 game showdown when Ding made one of the worst blunders in the 138-year history of World Championship match play. The 32-year-old defending champion resigned moments later after a game that lasted 58 moves in just over 4 hours, sealing Gukesh's 7.5 to 6.5 win in the, get this guys, 3-week match. 3
Crazy.
weeks.
You got to get focused for that, man.
You know, I got really
long concentration.
Yeah, I got really into chess again when the Queen's Gambit came out. And I downloaded an app that teaches me how to play chess. I don't know how these guys do it. They're thinking like 30
They're
moves
incredible.
ahead. But
incredible.
here's my question, Tony. Is chess a sport? He did the full slow turnaround to face me.
I don't know where he's
I'm
going.
gonna say no.
Oh.
I'm gonna say no.
It's just a board game?
It's a brain game. I don't know that there's any athleticism involved in this.
You got to think ahead.
All right,
Again.
again, how much athleticism is there in golf? Come on.
There's a lot of athleticism.
There's a swing. That's
You
athleticism.
got to be consistent with
I
your
don't know
swing.
if picking up a piece and
Bowling?
going, yeah,
Rolling the
your-
ball?
your body.
But your brain is what you're playing with. You're not playing with a golf club or a baseball bat. You're playing with your brain.
In chess.
Yes.
Yes.
That's a sport.
No.
You have to think like 30 moves ahead.
No. Yeah, you do. That's all true. But I don't think it's a sport.
Chris, I know where Chris is on this. Chris is going to be like, get it out of my sports courtroom.
I love chess, though, so I'm not going to say that. I like to play it. I'm very much a novice, but I've played it since I was a little kid. Like, I learned it when I was probably 8 or 9 years old.
Are you like a savant?
I just said I'm a novice. I'm not anywhere near good, but I think chess is amazing. But to call these guys athletes, it's a bit of a stretch. I'm looking all over ESPN's website right now, seeing if there's a reference to this story anywhere, because it seems like the kind of thing they would give credit to. You know, like an ESPN, the Ocho event.
I'm pretty sure that...
I don't know if this goes on the sports page or not, but in my mind, it kind of does.
Okay, all right, that's a good way of putting it. In the newspaper, what section does
I don't
this
think it'll
go
be in the
under?
sports
It's
section.
not in the sports
Life
section.
and style?
I just know it's not in the sports section. This can't be a sport.
Tony's so happy about
It's
this.
too bad because this guy, if this was a sport, you have to consider this guy one of the great athletes ever. He's 18 years old. No one ever this young has won this championship. For him to compile all of the knowledge that he's done in a short time is remarkable.
I think it's funny that this article that I saw was like so making such a big deal about this move.
I'm gonna need my
the
man
worst
to
move
do-
in 138 years.
I'm gonna need my man to run a 40 and do the vertical jump.
I'm pretty sure he ran the 40 and 4.1.
He
and
might
his
have jumped
vertical
up
jump
after
was
he won,
Yeah,
Tony.
he might have,
80 inches.
which would have been the most athletic thing he did in the 5. How long was it? How long was the game?
Oh, like 3 weeks.
Most athletic thing he did in 3 weeks.
All right. Kirk Kenny, San Diego Union Tribune. Up next, he's going to talk to us about Danny O'Neal entering the transfer portal.
Gwynn and Chris starts right now on 97.3 The Fan.
Last two segments of the day. Thursday Night Football follows. Scraby's Niners taking on the better Rams tonight.
That's not their name. Their name is the Rams.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant to say Rams.
You said the better Rams.
I don't know what happened right there.
I'm making a deal with the devil. I'm rooting for
your guy, Mr.
Sean
McVay.
McVay tonight. Yeah,
can't wait. We will not be playing Chris versus the Fans. We will postpone it until tomorrow. That is because
we have
Scraby has a read to get off first, and then we have Kirk Kenny.
Chris versus the Fans.
Kirk Kenny joins us.
You can't control their schedule.
Kirk Kenny joins us here on the 4 o'clock segment. Kirk, how are you, my friend? Did you get pulled over?
I am not quite, but if you want a traffic report, there's cars everywhere.
Sorry to hear that.
Sorry to hear
on
that.
On side streets, on highways, on dead ends, there are cars.
All right, Kirk, the news of the day. Danny O'Neill apparently transferring out of the program. What is the latest? I believe you've spoken to him. What is it that he is saying why this is happening?
Yeah, as soon as we reported that he's out, then everybody, of course, speculates it's NIL or this or that. And when I spoke to him, he said what it's about is he wants to get back closer to home. And he's from Indianapolis, so that's as Tony knows, that's a good long flight to San Diego. And he said, he wants to be closer where family and other relatives can see him playing his games.
Yeah, mind you, this is still a young man that is in his freshman year was pretty far away. So we had speculated it could be NIL. We all said we don't know, but now we're finding out. Wants to be a little bit closer to home, Chris.
Yeah. Did he talk with how does this work? I really don't even get it. I mean, when you go into the transfer portal, how do you actually do that, Kirk? And when you do it, do you talk to the school you're leaving at all? Is every case different? Do we know if he talked to the Aztecs and Coach Sean Lewis about this?
He spoke to the coaches this morning to let them know what he was thinking. And then you go to your school, and they are the ones who physically put you in the portal. And then once you are officially in there, that's when other schools officially can contact you. Yes. As we've come to see, it looks like there's a lot of back channel stuff that goes on beforehand. But I didn't get a sense of any of that with this. Danny's been upfront and honest throughout the season, and all indications to me are he's being straightforward. He was pretty emotional on the phone.
Kirk, does this did this come as a surprise to the staff? I mean, obviously, when you recruit a kid that's coming from Indianapolis, I know for most coaches that's probably at the forefront of their mind. How will they do this far away from home? Was there any indications to the coaching staff that this could be something that was down the pipeline?
I've had coaches tell me they're never surprised about anything at any time anymore. He was also a true freshman, so I'm sure he had his ups and downs behind the scenes as far as, first time away from home and all that. Was it a total surprise? I probably would say no, but I think they still expected him to come back within the last couple of weeks before today.
Kirk Kenny is with us. Danny O'Neill, the San Diego State quarterback, will not be with them. He is transferring out in the portal. That came down earlier. Kirk's got all the latest info, and we appreciate him passing along some of it to us. All right, so I don't know if you talked to Danny about this, but for Sean Lewis to basically turn over an entire season to a freshman quarterback with the idea, I'm sure, of kind of planting the flag for the next 2 or 3 years. I mean, how much of a blow might this be, Kirk? And I mean, what's their fallback plan now? And this kind of hits them a little bit out of nowhere.
Yeah, I think it's pretty big that 3 guys competing during the spring and summer are all gone now. And Danny is the one who won the job. But in and amid that, Sean had said the offense he was installing could take up to like a year and a half to really get going. And so they were fortunate enough to have their big upcoming wide receiver, Jordan Napier, decided yesterday that he is going to stay. So that was good news. They had some other guys who were starters last year decide to stay. But now to get hit with this, where your quarterback, who's obviously the main focus of the offense, decide to leave, that kind of moves them back a few squares. The one good thing, the portal is a double-edged sword, but the one good thing is you can go find a veteran quarterback there, and they're going to be looking for probably 3 guys because they're down to 2 guys on the depth chart. So there's going to be somebody to go find, but the good side of that is there's a lot of quarterbacks in there.
Yeah, that is kind of the new age problem / good problem.
Yeah, it does go both ways.
Yeah, it definitely goes both ways. Kirk, we appreciate you coming on, man, kind of breaking this down for us and breaking this story.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys.
Kirk Kinney, Union Tribune.
Kirk's on it. Appreciate it. Of course, if, rich alumni out there want to donate more money.
Well, I mean, I think you were gone. I don't know if you were on the segment when we talked about it, but, they released that new initiative.
Yes, so I was, the 619.
Exactly. So, I mean,
that's a good idea.
It's outside the box, but it is a way in which we can help our alum if you're capable of it, for sure.
Give your money to the red and black.
The red and black attack.
Yeah, it's a tough go, college sports right now. Football mostly. It's just a reminder. And Kirk's right. It cuts both ways. They can go into the portal now, and they can offer 5 or 6 or 7 quarterbacks to come on out, try to figure out who's the best fit, and bring them right in.
Yeah.
There's got to be a quarterback who transferred from somewhere and wants to start somewhere else.
Yeah.
And you've got a couple of holdover guys.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
for sure.
that the thing that's difficult is that they were willing, Sean Lewis and the program were willing to live with the young rookie type mistakes that were made by Danny O'Neil.
Because they were going to be building with it.
Because they were going to be building blocks, right. And now, they have to start with a different quarterback and probably be willing to tolerate some of those mistakes next year.
Are there any more mindsets out there that are of the kind of idea that I want to be the reason, I want to put this program on the map? Is there any more of that kind of thinking?
Was there ever that kind of thinking?
I think so.
I mean, Marshall Faulk came here. I mean,
Marshall Faulk came here, yes, but did he come here to do what he ended up doing? He came here, what I recall, could be, I'm not trying to revise history here, but Marshall was being recruited everywhere as a cornerback only. San Diego State was the only school that said you can play running back. That's why he came here, if I'm not mistaken.
Look at all those.
So they caught a bit of a break there.
I was going to say, and also
I don't
all the dummies that didn't think he was a running back.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's right. We took advantage of a break on everybody else, not thinking correctly.
Well, I mean,
but did Marshall? Because when Marshall Faulk came here, he was the 5th string running back. He didn't walk in from day one. He took over early because somebody got hurt.
He was being recruited all over the place for corner. He could have gone to a school that was far better than San Diego State, I assume.
But he wanted to be running back, and this was his spot.
The point is that he still took a chance to come here, even if it was going to allow him to play the position he played. Tony Gwynn was the same way. I mean, these weren't powerhouse. This wasn't a powerhouse school yet. These athletes decided to come here. So I'm just saying, that mindset exists at one point. Maybe it doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, it's fair, Tony, because I had a lot of options out there, and I really wanted to build San Diego State into a baseball power. Just came up a little short.
That baseball Dietz's head.
Yeah, shouldn't have
bounced it off his melon.
The ball as he's coming to get you. In Padre news, it seems like they are rolling away from the winter meetings, although with no new goodies, with some ideas on how they can get some goodies. And Dylan Cease seems to be the name that has kind of come to the surface in terms of team interest. We saw the Orioles were apparently in on talks about Dylan Cease, or at least interested in Dylan Cease.
Let's go Adley Rutschman. Straight up. One for one.
Scraby is...
Would you do that?
They need a catcher. But A.J. Preller never spends over $5 million on catchers, so that would be a problem.
Yeah, I don't know that the Orioles probably are looking to
Orioles have to agree to. Okay.
They're looking to make that deal.
You don't just get to call the Orioles and go, here's what we want to do, and then they have to say okay.
They're like, okay. It's almost like turning off the option on MLB The Show where the computer doesn't get a chance to have a say in the trade. You
you just
offer
do
a
it.
trade and you just go that
force it
way.
through.
Yeah.
You know what I think is funny is that people are posting their MLB The Shows where Juan Soto went in their game, and the game always has him going to the last team that he would ever go to. It's like the Rockies, the Pirates.
He was on the Rockies in one of my leagues.
The Rays. It's like, how did the game get it that wrong that he is not going to go to any of those teams?
You guys got to start living in reality. You, Scraby, instead of in the world of MLB The Show.
But that's the only place I can hit home runs and strike out major leaguers.
Like I said, get back into reality.
That's why we all play it.
Yeah, I am a dual threat in my career mode, okay?
You're the Shohei Ohtani of MLB
I
The Show.
throw a sweet knuckleball, and I also throw a 98-mile-an-hour heater.
Shohei Scrabe.
Shohei
Hey, my
Scrabe.
last season I had 47 home runs.
Yeah, that'll be the only place you have 47 home runs, buddy.
You know, I've never actually hit a home run in my life, which is
Little
one of my
league
biggest
either?
life regrets.
Not even in Little
It
League?
hit the top of the fence and then didn't go over. I thought it was
Chris,
over.
did you ever hit any home runs in Little
Morse
League?
High School, right down the right field line in an adult league game.
Ooh.
It's about 190
sorry.
feet down that line. Right down the first base foul line. Just
Short porch?
really short porch at Morse High School. It dropped right over the wall. I was just shocked as anybody. Couldn't believe it. So, yeah, I did get one.
Well, I love how he goes 190 down the line.
Maybe 220, but it was not a prodigious blow.
All
Who
right.
was your first home run off of?
I don't remember his name. I know
Majors?
it was in All Stars. Playing against
Oh, I
Dale.
meant major.
Oh, it was against Kevin Millwood.
Oh,
That's a good guy to get it off of. He's a
That was
good
my
pitcher.
first one. Yeah.
just felt sweet.
First
huh?
of few. Not a first of many. First of few.
When you hit a home run, correct me if I'm wrong, you don't even feel the ball hit the bat. That's how perfect of a sweet spot you hit it on.
There's only
Correct?
one that I felt that I didn't hit like perfect,
Yeah.
and that was against Bronson Arroyo.
Ooh.
The other ones you didn't feel like it's just like
like
the
golf.
perfect contact.
Yeah.
I wish I could do that once in my life, but I think those days are over, guys.
All right, one mismatch that's been going on all year in the world of the National Football League is the Gwynn versus Chris NFL Pick'em game. Tony leads by over 30 points with 4 weeks to go. But we must finish.
I'm enjoying it very much.
Yeah, you would do that. Our picks for Week 15 follow traffic. Stick around.
From the 90s.
Oh, I'm up. I was pointing at Tony, but
I was last.
turn.
I can't hear anything. Like I think my headphones are broken.
Tony's like, I see his eyes panic. I kind of panicked too. But I fixed
Finishing
it.
things up on Gwynn and Chris. Next up, Rams football right here on this very station. Before that, though, we got to just basically applaud Tony's dominance in our Gwynn versus Chris NFL pick'em.
Playing for a season-long prize of pride.
I see pride. I see power.
The guys make their picks, and then they stress over their picks all weekend.
No! Please, no! No! No!
Gwynn and Chris NFL Pick'em starts now.
All right, last week we both went 3 for 3, but we both missed our upset pick, so Tony remains 31 points ahead. It's a joke.
It's a joke.
91-60 is the score. I have 4 weeks left to try to do something about that. I don't even know if it's mathematically possible, but we'll see what happens. Tony, who you got for your 3-point pick this week?
This might be the biggest spread of the year right here.
It's pretty big.
I'll take Baltimore on the road against the Giants.
They're favored by 16 big ones. All right, my first pick's going to be Monday Night Football. I think the Bears have cashed it in, as they showed last week, rolling over against San Francisco.
Yes.
So I'll take Minnesota here for the
Minnesota.
7. They're 7-point favorites, but that doesn't matter. I'll take Minnesota for 3. Tony, for 2. Who do you like next?
For 2,
Yeah.
I will take it the minute. Oh, you said Minnesota already.
Yeah, you
huh?
can't have. I mean, you're already ahead by 31. I'm not going to let you cheat.
Give me AZ. They got to win this to stay afloat here.
AZ over New England. All right, I'll take the. Everything else pretty close this week, really, on the spreads. Eagles are due for a letdown, but are the Steelers that good? How much time? Okay. I'm talking to myself.
Man, you were panicking over there.
I'll take Washington.
Washington
At New Orleans. Commanders got to go on the road. Get a dub. All right, for one
Name and logo.
Yeah. Have you read any tweets about the fact that they're actually considering going back to Redskins, or is all that just?
I have.
Is that actual?
That is actual. I think the new ownership is trying to work with people in the Native American community.
All right, we'll see. Tony, 1 point.
How about we head on down? I refuse to pick that team. Let's go with.
Ooh, I'm going to go.
I'm going to go. Let's go.
We have a minute and a half left. Kansas City at Cleveland for 1.
Picking all road teams.
The Chiefs are going to win, and this will be a 3-doinker this week against Cleveland, probably. I'll finish up with the Eagles at home over the Steel Curtain. It's a good matchup. 2 really good games Sunday. That one and Detroit Buffalo. People are upset because both games kick off at the exact same time.
I know the only person happy about that is Scott Hansen.
That's right, where I'll be watching. All right, Tony, your upset pick this week. Your upset pick is why you're winning. You've been able to nail this plenty of times.
I got 2 in my sight lines here.
All right. Who is it?
It's either Let's Ride or I'm going with my boy Derek Carr of the New Orleans Saints.
Wait, what?
Isn't he hurt?
Is he hurt still?
Yeah, he broke his hand.
When did that happen?
Last week.
Oh, I missed that. Okay, well then give me Pittsburgh then.
Pittsburgh for 5
I
points.
didn't know Derek Carr was your boy either.
He's not, but he was about to be my boy if he could have got me 7 points.
Pittsburgh for 5. All right, I'm trailing by 31, so there's only one thing I can do. Taking the Giants to beat the Ravens.
Hey.
If they do it, it's 16 points, and it might close the gap. But that's really much all I can do. So I'm counting on Tommy DeVito, who is starting for the
he is
now injured Drew Lock.
Drew Lock got injured? Man.
Yeah,
See, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, well, you got to read up. You got to read up.
I got to read that paper right next to the chess results in the sports section.
All right, that's going to pretty much do it. We got a few seconds left here. I want to thank somebody for posting an old Twitter post that Jurickson Profar had signed with the Padres. It was from like an MLB website that I totally believed in. It said, according to AJ Cassavell, who I always believe in, the Padres have re-signed Jurickson Profar. And then I read that was last February.
It's like 2/12,
yeah,
2024.
So technically, they didn't do anything wrong.
No, they didn't do anything wrong. They just posted something from a year ago, but they had me believing for a minute.
They just wanted to remind you the feeling at that point.
Yeah, well, we need a feeling soon.
I don't think Jurickson's signing for $1 million this year.
Probably not going to happen.
There's a good bet there.
All right, we'll be back tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Enjoy Rams football coming up next on 97.3 The Fan.
If they lose, I'm not coming to work tomorrow, everybody.